All you ever asked for is an opportunity. You got it today. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Let's go!
Buffalo's happening now. We're on the move now. The Bills are happening now. They're making it happen now. We got the spirit, a lot of spirit, yeah. We got the spirit. Just watch it happen now. Hey, 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 hey. Let's go Buffalo. Let's go Buffalo. The Bills make me wanna.
Just prove what kind of fans we have. We have the best fans in the league.
Well, see, our fans are great. You know, they come out, they get excited, and they come out and they cheer before the game. They're there, ready to go. And when you see that, when you walk out of that tunnel, you know, right now, here comes the electricity.
In 1989, we watched the Bills fight and bicker their way to a playoff berth. Though it was a valiant effort, we fell a fingertip short. We returned a year later, making it all the way to the Super Bowl, ending with the most heartbreaking moment in Bills history, the kick that sailed wide right. We watched the team fall short again, this time versus Washington in Super Bowl 26, where nothing seemed to go right. And again in Super Bowl 27, when the Cowboys rounded up the herd, with the Bills losing 52-17. And yet again in Super Bowl 28, also losing to the Cowboys, 30-13. That's 4 consecutive chances at bringing the championship home to Buffalo, falling short every time. The memories have not faded in the Bills faithful, as Bills Stadium will be packed again this year. Nor has the pain of falling short so many times in a row stopped the burning desire of one day regaining the glory on top of the football world where we once ruled.
They did get the goalpost.
One horse, too.
Okay, well, that's too bad because we're going to need it some more.
On May 21st, 1996, a kid from a small farming town in California was born. Not knowing the role he would one day play in the hearts and minds of Bills Mafia, Josh Allen first captured the ones of Fireball, California. At an early age, coaches quickly saw the potential in Allen.
And I said, that guy's going to be our quarterback. He would succeed. It was a huge celebration. And when he didn't, I saw the competitor. And then I looked at the other kids, and they're all looking at him. And they didn't want to let him down. And I saw the leader that was going to lead us.
The toughness and persistence that Josh displays were embedded in him from his upbringing. His father had him working on their family farm in 100-degree heat when Josh and his brother Jason were not playing sports.
That's kind of what helped develop his character and his strong will. Nothing's going to be given to you or going to have to earn your way in life. And that's kind of what I tried to instill in Josh.
In the summer, we were either playing baseball or we were, moving the irrigation pipe in 105-degree weather, going out in the cotton fields and, picking the weeds out. Definitely instilled a strong work ethic in myself.
My brother has been there with me the whole time. Throughout our lives, we were very competitive.
He pretty much did everything first. Always having someone next to you, having that brother. Never really was in that position growing up, knowing that I had to do something alone.
They did everything together. I mean, even when Jason turned 16, got his license, he still wanted his brother Josh to drive him to school.
Obviously, I wanted to be better than him. We definitely tried to push each other and make each other the best athlete as possible.
I'm not saying that we didn't fight in high school. We actually had a really bad skirmish where, I don't know if I should go into it. But,
you should totally go into it.
It was after basketball practice one day, and it was just a pickup game.
I intentionally fouled him because it was game point, and I wrapped my arms around him so he didn't have the easy layup. And I went down the court, and I hit a 3 in his face. He fouled me the next play. I threw the ball at him.
He charged me. I charged him.
And then he came and punched me. And
threw a punch, and I landed. It connected. Gave him a black eye.
I got in my car, and I left him there.
He left me at the school. It's 15 miles out of town, and someone had to give me a ride home.
My mom called me and was like, oh, your brothers had it out. And I was like, oh, well, they'll get over it. They're best friends. They'll hug it out.
Josh continued to impress his family, coaches, teammates, and all of Fireball, California with his abilities to play. He excelled the older he got. Allen's heart and will were formed from the combination of hard work and belief in himself. You can see his arm strength on display from highlights of his high school days, which he is now famous for. The road was not easy for Josh, as he quickly learned. Even his senior year, in which Josh threw for more than 3,000 yards, no college scouts came to recruit him.
you're not very big and your tape's not extremely impressive, college coaches aren't going to look at it.
The recruit coordinator from Fresno State just straight out told me, he's small.
Went to a camp, there was a few quarterbacks there, and they separated the quarterbacks who I thought were the better group, and they put them on this field, and I kind of stayed back with the other group, and I was extremely mad. I really wanted to be on that field with the guys who they thought were the better guys. Couldn't even focus on playing football at that moment.
His hometown team that he rooted for forever passed him up.
Being overlooked, obviously, it hurt Josh to the core because he knew he could compete with the best of them.
So Josh's senior year, he was on a mission.
The goal was to obtain a scholarship. I was going to do anything that I could to get a scholarship offer. I was emailing every coach that I could, just trying to get them to see my film. Still, nothing was coming in.
I know we're from a small town, and we knew that our talent was small town talent. You know, we're in a D5 school.
He will sit in there and get hit and get hit and get hit, knock down, get up, and throw the ball. He develops the toughness.
Coaches just never thought of a kid coming from Fireball, the school that's never produced anybody.
They didn't realize that if they're going to judge something, judge his heart.
This wasn't going to be the end for me because I wasn't allowed it to be the end for me.
With no Division I schools knocking on Allen's door, Josh enrolled at Reedley Junior College in the San Joaquin Valley, a little more than an hour from Fireball. Josh knew he deserved to play amongst the nation's best athletes, he just wasn't sure how to get there. Allen set out as the Tigers' backup, but was starting by the 5th game. Allen completed 5 of 16 passes for 108 yards and a touchdown in his first start. In 10 games with the Reedley Tigers, he threw for 2,055 yards and 26 touchdowns, and still, no D1 schools offered him a scholarship. When most people would have packed it up to find other careers in life, Allen's determination would not be rattled. He made a highlight reel, then uploaded it to the internet, and then wrote an email sending it to at least 1,000 college coaches, assistant coaches, position coaches, and scouts, pleading for an opportunity.
He wasn't on anybody's radar, but you know, the first time we saw him, we saw athleticism, we saw some skills that could be developed. And then I flew in, and I remember coming in and looked at Josh in the eye and said, hey, I've covered the country. You're the quarterback that's going to lead us to greatness, and you're the guy we want.
Back home in the Central Valley, former Fireball High and Reedley College quarterback Josh Allen is headed to the Mountain West to play football at Wyoming next season. Allen signed his letter of intent just about an hour ago at his family's restaurant. I'll tell you what, Wyoming might have found themselves a diamond in the rough. Despite not starting this past season until the 5th game of the year, the dual threat racked up more than 2,700 yards of offense and 36 total touchdowns at Reedley College. And Wyoming head coach Craig Bull expects Allen to compete for playing time immediately, saying, quote, Josh is an extremely talented young man who is just the type of quarterback we're looking for, end quote. Allen is the second ever athlete out of Fireball High to sign a letter of intent with a Division I school.
Only 2 schools showed interest, Eastern Michigan and Wyoming. Wyoming coach Craig Bull did so only because Oregon's Eric Dungy bailed on Wyoming at the last minute, signing with Syracuse. So Bull gave the scholarship to Allen. Josh was finally playing where he belonged, and everything was looking as if it was shaping out the way he hoped, until his first start.
Memorial Stadium as they get ready to take on the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Josh Allen, he gets the start, Sid.
Yeah, another guy that's big, physical, can throw the ball down the field, tremendous arm. Watching him throw in warm-ups, the kid can make every throw on the field.
They'll fake it and come the other way. And down the right side goes number 88, Jacob Hollister. And they're going to throw it again, but it's Allen keeping it. A head fake, and I think he's got himself a first down. The passing situation, Allen flushed out. He's got room to run, a lot of room, and takes a hit at the 20. And now he's down. He ran right into Geraldo, and now he's taking a knee after a 24-yard run.
After playing so well and doing all the right things, I mean, it's too bad. It's really too bad. It's one of the unfortunate things in this game.
Allen would end up missing his sophomore year and redshirt the 2015 season due to a broken clavicle. After facing adversity again, Allen dug deep and returned for the 2016 season with a vengeance-like play style.
If you're not familiar with Josh Allen, here he is, 6'5", 240 pounds, number 3 prospect on Kuiper's big board. Now, the easy comparison for him is the Eagles' Carson Wentz.
Piling up 3,203 yards and 28 touchdowns, leading the Wyoming Cowboys to the first 8-win season since 2000 and a berth in the Poinsettia Bowl.
Josh Allen came this close to declaring for the NFL draft. In fact, he did talk to Carson Wentz about his decision. He went to bed one night saying, "I'm gone," woke up the next day, changed his mind, and Wyoming is thrilled. But the amazing part of his football journey is that he's even in this position.
Allen's draft stock was Dow Jones-like, with its rising potential. The once unheard-of kid from a place no one looks for quarterbacks was suddenly on the NFL's radars. So when Allen returned to Wyoming for his junior year, some people were shocked, because a lot of NFL draft experts had him going in the first round of the 2017 draft.
I sat down with my family, we went to dinner, and I had told them I was going to declare the next day. And I was going to go to the NFL, start training in San Diego. We made a toast to it, and my dad made a speech, and I'm so proud of you, and we're going to be behind you the whole time. And something just didn't feel right. And my head coach called me, and he said, "Here, I'm going to have you speak to, here's an NFL GM." And then the NFL GM called me and said, blah, 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 this and that. And, I called Coach Bo back, and he said, "Here, I'm going to get you another GM." I was like, "Coach, that's not necessary. I'm going to come back to school and play another year for you." And he goes, "I love you, Josh." And then just like that, and I go, "Let's go win a Fiesta Bowl, Coach." And he said, "I like the sound of it."
Josh Allen's junior year was not as great as he'd hoped, losing 5 players to the draft and injuring his throwing shoulder in the 10th game against Air Force.
Gets it back from Conway, heaves it down the field, and it's broken up in triple coverage. Well, a lot happening there as C.J. Johnson was hoping to spring free near the 10. That's the first incompletion of the night for Josh Allen. And he took a shot as well, Tom.
Yeah, Jack Floor, the inside linebacker, kept coming hard, and he comes in and sees the pass back to Allen. And then
he was out for the final 2 games of the season, but returned to win the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, going 11-19 passing for 154 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Zips it deep for the touchdown. Jared's got his second touchdown grab of the season. Goal. Cowboys 1 of 2 on 3rd down. Allen flush. Keeps the play alive. Zips it to the end zone for the touchdown. Point guard, he redshirted his season for the Pokes. Allen has completed 5 in a row, looking for number 6. Loads it up deep towards the end zone. Pass is caught for the touchdown. C.J. Johnson has it.
Hey, Josh, what is it like for you to return to action today and help lead the Cowboys to victory?
It's everything I dreamt about, hats off to Central Michigan. That's a good football team right there. We came out, we just wanted it more. Our defense played phenomenal. They've been doing it all season. We trusted our coaches. It just feels great how we executed today. Why was this important to you to play in this bowl game? Man, coming only from one scholarship offer, Coach Bo and Coach Vegan, they believed in me. When I came out of junior college, I felt like I owed them at least one more game here. Football's a part of me. If I'm not playing it, I'm not me. So I got to be on the field at all times because I love this team, I love this game, and I love the Cowboys.
What's next for you?
I will be declaring for the 2018 NFL Draft.
Though Allen's numbers dipped from the year before, that didn't discourage scouts. Allen's name was ringing in NFL scouting communities. Scouts were blown away by his size and athletic ability, plus his cannon for an arm. But some scouts were critical of his in-game decisions, completing only 56.2% of his passes at his time in Wyoming. Some NFL analysts were even making comparisons to Kyle Bowler and Christian Hackelberg, while Coach Bowl was comparing him to Brett Favre.
You can't cover that. And so that's why I'd say his value system's strong. He's going to be able to be resilient. He plays in cold weather. He overcame adversity this year. We had a lot of players that went in the NFL the previous year. Not one time did he come in my office and complain about the weapons that he lost. And he even told me, he goes, Coach, if I get drafted where I think I'm going to get drafted, I'm probably going to go into a rebuild. And so I've got to learn how to work through adversity. Those are qualities that you cannot just teach. Those are intrinsic things that he has. I would say this. Everybody says, well, what's the comparison? I had a chance to coach against Peyton Manning in college. And, my assessment, and I'm a defensive guy, my assessment was Carson has tons of qualities that are very much like Peyton Manning. I would say, while I never coached against Brett Favre, you got a Favre with Josh. And that's a double-edged sword, but if you corral it right, Brett Favre's a pretty good quarterback too.
As the week of the 2018 Senior Bowl progressed, coaches and scouts could see improvement in Allen's game. The fastball that he is so famous for also saw some touch on both touchdown passes. The North All-Stars only scores of the day.
Go to the end zone. Put him up. There's touchdown.
The touchdown. Drop back, and this is all a touch pass again. So we saw the heavy power, the steam on the last throw. Now we see the touch. So in the second half, we're seeing Josh Allen become the guy we all thought he was.
Although losing to the South team 45-16, Allen had a good performance, going 9 of 13 for 158 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then being praised as the most improved player. The race was heating up for the first overall pick of the NFL draft, and experts couldn't make up their minds on who was going to which team.
And Todd's mock for 2018 is about to start.
Well, Trey, it's time for them to start getting ready for next year's draft, and we can't start the quarterback conversation soon enough. When you talk to personnel people around the league, they're already salivating at next year's quarterback class. Josh Allen from Wyoming, Sam Darnold from USC, Josh Rosen from UCLA. There was one personnel director who told me this week that you could put it in the books. Josh Allen will be the #1 pick in the NFL draft.
Player that we talked about the least in Josh Allen. He probably has the biggest upside. Now, he's a modern-day cowboy. I mean, he's big, 6'5". He's like Ben Roethlisberger, or if he takes over, he has the skill set of a Joe Flacco, a little more athletic, but he can really throw the deep ball. Accuracy is a thing. Do people get more accurate once they get into the program? Only a few of them.
Who's the likely biggest bust? I would probably say it's Josh Allen, because there are some that are putting him atop the draft board, and I have a lot more faith in Rosen and even Darnold.
And what an example in this world of five-star world. Yeah. A 0-star player ends up becoming maybe the first pick in the draft because of the want, the heart, the desire, the dream. You just kept pushing.
Love it.
I've seen an arm like this in my life. Like, I've been around a lot of quarterbacks. His arm is beyond elite. It will be what every arm is measured against. At his pro day, he'll probably throw the ball 90 yards. No joke.
One moment, Allen was the clear #1, then Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson. So much talent at the quarterback position that the draft class of 2018 has been claimed by some as being the second coming of the 1983 draft, which saw the likes of Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, and John Elway.
We got a Baker, we got a Sam, we got 2 Joshes. The other Josh Allen. What do you see from him?
Look, I blow some people's minds when I talk about this guy in terms of what I thought the very first time I turned on the film and saw him with those long white socks and standing tall in the pocket out there. I said, you know what, if you put a 13 on him, like that throw right there, rolling out to his right and throwing the football down the field in the corner of the end zone. Yep. There's a guy who played for the University of Pittsburgh named Dan Marino when he was in college, looked like that, was throwing the football. That right there that I'm talking about, his physical gifts are tremendous. Can throw the football a mile, can put it on a rope. When we were down at the Senior Bowl with Bill and I, you hear the ball going through the air, and you hear that.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like when he throws it.
Yeah, because he's coming from so high.
The question is, can he put it where it needs to be consistently, and can he process information fast enough so teams don't get a jump on him? He made those improvements during the week down there. He's going to be a very talked about, polarizing subject matter when it comes to where is he going to go in the draft, because most people don't think you can improve accuracy, and I tend to be one of those.
The wait was almost up for Allen. His dreams were about to come true. Not only for himself and his family, but also for the faithful Bills Mafia.
Let's go up to Adam Schefter.
The Buffalo Bills drafted Allen with the 7th overall pick, Buffalo's highest selected quarterback in franchise history.
Trade, what happened here is that the Buffalo Bills and Denver Broncos had a trade in place for some of the afternoon. Denver was going to go back to Buffalo's spot, but ultimately when Bradley Chubb became available, Denver did not want to make the deal. So Buffalo got on the phone with Tampa and traded 2 extra second-round draft picks to move up to #7 to put the Bills in position to get the quarterback that they coveted.
And the Bills even talked to the Browns at #4, but it was too high of a cost. And one note here, Bills owner Terry Pegula joined the Bills contingents to a lot of the quarterback workouts, and he was especially infatuated with Josh Allen for the obvious reasons. he can play in that weather. So that's a guy that Terry Pegula and Brandon being the general manager and Sean McDermott, the coach, certainly were infatuated with.
Commissioner at the podium. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have traded the 7th pick to the Buffalo Bills. With the 7th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming.
Well, maybe a little longer wait than Josh Allen expected, but the man who once had to send out 1,000 emails to head coaches, offensive coordinators, and quarterback coaches just to say, take a look at my tape, got 2 offers, one from Wyoming. He went to everybody, Nick Saban, you name it. They all said no. Now, in the 7th overall pick in the draft, those 1,000 emails are indeed paying off as Josh Allen is the new quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. And they love it in Laramie, the Buckhorn Bar and Parlor, where they watch their Wyoming Cowboys do all that good stuff with Josh Allen. He is now going to a place that he'll be used to. Snow, cold, wind, temperatures. They'll get it going. Mel, the question here has always been the accuracy. You don't see it as a problem.
Well, I think when you look at Josh, they traded up to take you. After the last 24 hours you've been through and you had things that you had to address, how do you process the emotions of this?
Well, obviously, I just want to say, thank you to the Bills organization for, making the leap and putting their faith in me. I'm going to make them look like they're the smartest people out there. I'm humble. I'm blessed to be part of the Bills Mafia. This is one of the greatest moments of my life. Miss Pegula, how are you doing?
Josh.
Good to see you.
You were my first quarterback visit.
Yeah.
So happy. Like, we didn't need to go to any other visits, but
yeah.
Happy that you are here as a Buffalo Bill.
Are you going to be coming here tomorrow as a Buffalo Bill? And so excited, and I know it's a big day for you.
I can't thank you enough. This is the biggest moment in my life. I'm super proud to be a Buffalo Bill, and I'm going to make you guys proud, I promise you.
Yeah, now you can turn your cowboy steaks into wings.
That's right. That doesn't hurt my feelings, I'll tell you that.
Oh, that's great. Well, enjoy your day. Congratulate your whole family, your parents.
It's a big day for you and your whole family, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
We'll see you soon, bright and early.
All right. Thanks.
Have a good one.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Allen will be competing for the starting quarterback position against A.J. McCarron and Nathan Peterman. Despite a quality preseason, Josh began the season as the Bills' backup when McCarron was traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. Josh made his first regular season appearance against the Baltimore Ravens when Peterman was benched after posting a 0 passer rating. Allen finished the game with 74 yards passing and 26 yards rushing as the Bills lost 47-3. On September 12, 2018, the Bills announced that Allen would start the following week against the Los Angeles Chargers. Josh finished the game with 245 passing yards, his first NFL passing touchdown, and 2 interceptions as the Bills lost 31-20. During a Week 3 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, Allen led the Bills to their first victory of the season with a dominant first-half performance. Allen passed for 196 yards and a touchdown, adding 39 yards on the ground with 2 rushing scores and a 27-6 victory. Josh Allen's hurdle over Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr on one of his scrambles went viral on social media, officially making a statement to NFL defenses.
Watch this. This is a freak play. Oh, no game. No way.
Oh, my.
Wow.
And, who did he jump over? He jumped over... Was it Barr?
It's Barr.
It's Barr. That's bad for Barr.
A few games later, in a 20-13 loss to the Houston Texans, Allen suffered an elbow injury and did not return. He finished the game completing 10-17 passes for 84 yards and 20 yards rushing. He was expected to miss at least 2 games with the injury. Allen returned after missing 4 games, getting the start against the Jacksonville Jaguars. What made the game even more interesting, Jaguars cornerback Jalen Ramsey called Josh Allen trash prior to the season.
What do you think of Josh Allen's performance? He did enough to get their team to win. Like you said, not a lot of I don't really know the stats, but I know he ran the ball really well. He hurt us with his feet. passing, it didn't feel like a lot of opportunities. We got to watch the film and stuff like that, but I think they may have had one deep one on us that hurt us early in the first quarter. Other than that, I mean, he was, you know, causing damage with his feet.
Did you change your perception of him at all? Do you still think he's trash?
I mean, the good thing about, you know, the world we live in is everybody can have an opinion, you know, I stick by my opinions usually. He hurt us with his feet. He did enough for their team to get a win. I mean, that's really what matters at the end of the day. So it doesn't matter, you know, what I said or anything like that. And I'm sure that's what he was thinking on his side. It doesn't matter. We have opinions every day. They can have opinions, but it's about what you go out there and do. And what he went out there and did for their team was get a win. So you can't really say anything about it.
So yes, still trash?
That's not what I said. You just heard how I just answered his question.
Yes,
Next question. Next question.
In a back-and-forth game that saw the Bills win 24-21 over the Jaguars, Allen completed 8 of 19 passes for 160 yards and a touchdown, adding 99 yards in the ground and a rushing touchdown. The 99 yards rushing broke the Bills' franchise record for rushing yards in a game by a quarterback, previously held by Tyrod Taylor. The Bills would finish out the season 6-10, 5-6 with Allen as the starting quarterback. Though the Bills posted a losing season, fans could see the franchise had a special quarterback, as Allen became the only quarterback in Bills history to lead the team in both passing and rushing yards in a single season. Allen entered 2019 as the Bills' opening day starter, being named the team captain and leading the Bills to a comeback win over the Jets in Week 1. Despite the Bills being down 16-0 at a point in the third quarter, Allen led the Bills to 17 unanswered points, finishing the game with 254 yards passing, 24 completions, both career highs.
Roberts was on the side, a 38-yard strike thrown by Josh Allen.
After leading Buffalo to its first 3-0 start since 2011, Allen struggled against the stout New England defense, throwing 3 interceptions, completing 13 of 28 passes for 153 yards and adding 26 more in a score on the ground, before suffering a helmet-to-helmet hit from Patriots cornerback Jonathan Jones, forcing Allen to lead the game in an eventual 16-10 loss.
A lot of people screaming about the hit yesterday, Jonathan Jones on Allen. Certainly, did you think a flag should have been even thrown in that situation based on the rule?
I think John did what we've coached him to do. And so if it's a foul, then I think, I'll have to change how we're coaching him. So I thought he tried to make the tackle, hit with his shoulder, didn't lead with his head, didn't have that posture. He did what he's being coached to do.
Well, he was trying to prevent him from crossing the sticks, right, and getting that first down. He wasn't lunging or anything. So why would Sean McDermott, when the game was over, said that we need to remove stuff like that out of the game, and you're sitting here telling us that you're teaching your players to do exactly what he did?
Yeah, you have to ask Sean that. I'm not sure.
Despite being placed in the concussion protocol, Allen returned the following week against the Tennessee Titans, completing 23 of 32 passes for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 14-7 Buffalo win. The Bills faced adversity again in Week 10 against the Cleveland Browns. Allen completed 22 of 41 passes for 266 yards and ran for 28 yards and 2 touchdowns, but the Bills lost 19-16, having missed 2 field goals. Allen and the Bills returned to form the following week against the Dolphins. Josh passed for 256 yards and 3 touchdowns, matching a career high. He also rushed for 56 yards and a touchdown as the Bills won 37-20, with Allen being named AFC Offensive Player of the Week for his performance. Allen's most memorable game to most of Bills Mafia was Week 11 against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. Allen led the way and set the tone on a crucial 4th down. Picking up a fumble snapped under the pile, he scrambled and fought his way to a first down.
Allen picks it up and he's still going. Look at Josh Allen.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, this is why his teammates love him, though. He is a football player through and through.
Number 17 recovered the ball and gained a first down.
Allen finished the game completing 19 to 24 passes, 231 yards, and a touchdown, with a passer rating of 120.7. Also rushing for 43 yards and a touchdown, claiming Turkey Leg Player of the Game in a 26-15 Bills win on prime time. In Week 15 against the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football, Allen threw for 139 yards, 1 touchdown, rushing for 28 yards and a touchdown to seal a 17-10 win. As a result of the win, the Bills clinched a spot in the playoffs for the second time in 3 years. In the rematch against division opponent New England Patriots, Allen passed for 208 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 53-yard pass to John Brown, smoking Stefon Gilmore for the score. Although the Bills gave a tremendous effort, Buffalo fell short once again, losing 24-17 and surrendered the division title to the New England Patriots. Allen finished the 2019 season with 3,089 yards passing, 20 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, also adding 109 rushes for 510 yards and 9 rushing touchdowns, while also leading the league with 4 fourth-quarter comebacks and 5 game-winning drives.
As he quickly gets it to Devin Singletary, and Singletary breaks the first tackle. He's a great...
In the AFC wildcard round against the Houston Texans, Allen started strong, breaking Jim Kelly's franchise postseason record for rushing yards by a quarterback with a single 42-yard rush on the first drive. A few plays later, he caught a 16-yard pass from wide receiver John Brown on a trick play.
Looking for Allen, he's got it! Touchdown Bills on a trick play to start things off.
I just love how they've come out and there's no fear. The swing pass to Singletary, then offensive coordinator Brian Daboll.
After building a 16-10 lead early in the third quarter, the Bills were unable to keep momentum and ultimately had to come from behind in the final moments to force overtime. Allen finished with 92 rushing yards, 264 passing yards, 16 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown as the Bills lost 19-22 in overtime. Allen was just the 3rd player since 1975, with 250 yards passing, 40 yards rushing, and 15 yards receiving in a single game.
What's your biggest takeaway? I know it's real early here, but losing a game like that, the way you guys lost it, what's your takeaway that you're going to go into the offseason with?
Well, it's a bitter taste. You don't want to lose that way. You don't want to lose anyway, and. But again, hats off to the Texans. They kept battling. They stayed in there. Made one more play than we did. That's what it came down to. And take this into the offseason, use it. Let it fuel me, and continue there.
How long do you think it takes for you to get over it? And in some ways, you hope a part of it you don't get over it. It may harden you in some ways.
Yeah, I won't be over this until we start playing again. For sure. Again, I'm very self-driven, and I understood that things could have went differently, and I'm going to learn from it, and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to grow from it, and this will be a chip on my shoulder until we start playing again.
Josh, when you look back More breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ. Stefon Diggs circling the wagons. Now a Buffalo Bill.
The Buffalo Bills have acquired Stefon Diggs in a blockbuster trade with the Vikings. Earlier today, Diggs tweeted that it's time for new beginning.
Late last night, things heated up between the Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills, ending with Stefon Diggs being traded to Buffalo.
Hi, Stefon. Vic Carucci from the Buffalo News. Welcome to Buffalo.
Appreciate that.
So you've talked about just finding your way still with learning, meeting new teammates and coaches and so forth. So I know it's early, but you were pretty vocal or public about what you didn't like about Minnesota or wanting to leave there, and that ultimately led to the trade that brought you here.
What was that again? You don't mind me asking what I was vocal about?
Well, what I wanted to ask you about was what makes you believe the situation here? I know you're still filling it out, but what makes you believe the situation here will be better than the one you left in Minnesota?
To answer your first question, I never actually discussed or went over anything as far as like my past with Minnesota. I never actually said anything. So when you said that's why I kind of was a little taken back. But Granted, to this new situation, I can say I'm excited. There is no right or wrong or problems to be fixed here or something to replace from my old situation. I have a lot of respect for the Minnesota Vikings. At that time, a trade happened, kind of got to look at it for what it is. But I never really was vocal about what I did or didn't like, so.
Okay, well, let me just, I'll tell you the premise of that, because Brandon Beane, the GM, said he thought there was an opportunity to make this deal based on what you had said, or at least posted social media-wise. It sounded like you were not a happy camper with the Vikings. Yeah. That's where that's coming from.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, well.
Is that fair? I mean, no, I want to make sure we're accurate.
I'm just listening to you, from your point of view, your standpoint, of course, but I never really was too vocal about it. It's time for a new beginning was enough said. But to your point, I'm super excited for my new situation. I feel like this is also a great organization, built on a lot of hardworking guys, a lot of guys that really grinded to get to where they're at. I trust the people that are in place. I'm just happy to be a part of it at this point. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. I'm just trying to be as helpful as I can, be a puzzle piece, try to mesh as well as I can to help this team win.
Now reporting, Tom Youngs.
And good afternoon. We come on the air because President Trump is about to speak on the coronavirus outbreak. The White House calling the news conference as health officials in Washington state confirm a patient has died from the infection. State health officials say this is in the Seattle area, the first coronavirus death reported so far in the U.S.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S.
The risk for all of us of becoming infected will be increasing.
Also directed the Department of Health to declare a public health emergency.
There is no doubt that there will be more cases where we find people who test positive.
With the 2019 season in the rearview, 2020 was looking up for Allen and the Bills, until a global pandemic which saw COVID-19 spread across the world and finally the United States. As steps were taken to stop the spread of the virus, no one would know how the season would play out, or if there was going to be one at all.
There's still a lot of moving parts, but for now, after a round of discussions, conference calls between the NFL's owners, the NFL's team presidents, the league is preparing, continuing planning as if the 2020 season will start on time, despite all the craziness that's going on right now with the restrictions with the coronavirus. Obviously, there's a lot of guesswork involved here. We don't know how things will play out, when restrictions will be lifted, but the NFL and their executives are optimistic that things will be back to normal by the time the season starts.
With no fans in the stands, the Bills began the 2020 season with 4 straight wins, 2 against division opponents, the New York Jets and Miami Dolphins. The Bills also beat the LA Rams in a close 35-32 win at home. Allen threw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, including a late score in the fourth quarter for the lead.
The end zone. Touchdown, Buffalo, Tyler Kroft. The Bills have the lead.
The next week, the Bills went out west to face a John Gruden Raiders team. The Raiders were down early but battled back to make it close, ending 30-23. Allen finished with 288 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, while Stefon Diggs racked up 115 yards receiving on 6 catches.
Allen dropping a dime, and Diggs with a stroke of genius.
The following week, the Bills were scheduled to play the Tennessee Titans, but due to a COVID outbreak amongst the Titans team, the game was rescheduled for a week later, which also postponed the Bills' next game against the Kansas City Chiefs.
They finally would be able to open their training facility today, get back to work, and resume preparations in person for the Buffalo Bills game on Sunday. Now, with another 2 positive tests, that means that game would be in jeopardy of even happening.
The Bills' offense that saw Josh Allen put up MVP-type numbers, with 1,326 passing yards and 15 total touchdowns through the first 4 weeks, looked stale from the start. The Titans scored 2 plays later on a pass to A.J. Brown from Ryan Tannehill, and they never looked back. Though the Bills held Derrick Henry to just 57 yards rushing, the Titans routed the Bills 42-16. The Bills played better the following week against the Kansas City Chiefs, keeping it close at the half 13-10. But it was the Kansas City Chiefs that showed why they won the Super Bowl the year before. They started to pull away late in the third quarter on a touchdown run by Darrell Williams, putting the Chiefs up 20-10.
Down and get the touchdown. Darrell Williams, and Andy Reid is mad no more.
After a Kansas City field goal, the Bills struck back on an Allen to Beasley score in the fourth quarter, making the score 23-17.
Pass underneath, there's Beasley. Touchdown.
After another Chiefs field goal and what turned out to be the Bills' last possession of the game, Allen threw an interception, forcing a pass to Cole Beasley.
Floats it, and what a pick. Daniel Sorensen, a one-handed grab.
After the Bills' second loss of the season, they made a run, beating their next three opponents, including division rival New England Patriots. When the Bills stripped Cam Newton in the final seconds to seal the deal in a 24-21 victory.
Buffalo takes over. Cam Newton coughs it up with 31 seconds left.
A week later, the Bills beat a Seahawks team that was in contention for first place in the NFC West. Allen and the Bills seemed to move the ball with ease, racking up 420 total yards in a 44-34 win, giving them a 7-2 record on the season. Buffalo then traveled to the Arizona desert to face a Cardinals team led by a young and talented QB, Kyler Murray. The Cardinals also acquired DeAndre Hopkins from the Houston Texans prior to the season, pairing him with veteran Larry Fitzgerald. The Bills had a solid first half, including 3 Tyler Bass field goals, one being from 58 yards as the first half expired. The second half started out as good as the first, with Allen connecting to Cole Beasley, making the score 23-9 in the third quarter, but the Cardinals wouldn't go away that easy. Arizona finally got rolling, scoring a touchdown on their next possession.
Take it. Murray takes it himself. Touchdown, Cardinals.
Then a field goal a few drives later. Kyler Murray then ran in a score, taking the lead for the Cardinals 26-23 in the fourth quarter.
Touchdown! Kyler Murray, sensational.
After Allen's second interception of the game, the Bills defense held the Cardinals to a punt late in the fourth quarter. With 35 seconds left on the clock, Josh threw a dart to the side of the end zone, which was caught by Stefon Diggs for the go-ahead score, making the game 30-26. But it would be the Cardinals blessed by the football gods this day with what is now known as the Hail Mary. The Cardinals signal caller threw up a desperation pass, which was caught in the end zone by DeAndre Hopkins over 3 Bills defenders.
DeAndre Hopkins! Miraculous! It's Murray magic!
The Bills suffered a heartbreaking 32-30 loss in what would be the last game that they would lose in the regular season. The Bills ripped off 6 consecutive wins, including sweeping the AFC East for the first time in team history, beating both the Dolphins and Patriots in dominating fashions, 56-26 and 38-9 respectively, completing the season with a 13-3 regular season record and good enough for second seed in the 2020 NFL playoffs. Not only did the Bills break team records, Josh Allen broke Drew Bledsoe's most passing yards in a single season and Jim Kelly's most passing touchdowns in a season, while Stefon Diggs broke Eric Mould's most receptions and receiving yards in a season. Josh Allen and the Bills headed into the playoffs, riding on a win streak in a record-setting season, mirroring the glory days of the 90s, and the city was electric, hosting a home playoff game for the first time since 1996, and fans would be in the stands for the first time all season. On Wild Card Weekend, the Indianapolis Colts came to town with veteran Phillip Rivers leading the offense. The Colts started hot, taking their first possession down the field for a field goal, and their next for a touchdown, matching the Bills' first touchdown drive. The Colts were on the move again, but stalled on a 4th down attempt when Rivers sailed the pass out of reach of his receiver.
Upstairs, incomplete.
The Bills backed up on their end of the field, drove down, finishing the drive with Allen scoring on a run play, making it 14-10 at the half.
To the end zone, touchdown, Buffalo.
Bills drove down the field, hitting a field goal coming out of the half. After a missed field goal by the Colts, Josh Allen connected on a pass to Stefon Diggs for 49-yard touchdown, giving the Bills a 24-10 lead in the fourth quarter. Rivers and the Colts would not fade into the sunset and put a drive together of their own, connecting on a touchdown pass, but failed to make the two-point conversion. After a Tyler Bass field goal, the last points the Bills would score, the Colts drove down and scored another touchdown, this time completing the two-point conversion, making the score 27-24 Buffalo.
Looking for it all. Rivers wide open. Touchdown, Jack Doyle.
But it was the Bills' defense that came through to win the game. After a questionable no-fumble call, the Colts had a final chance to win the game.
Loses the football, and the Bills jump on it with White.
Down is that the runner was down. We will wind the clock. And on the field stands.
On a Hail Mary attempt, which the Bills lost on earlier in the season, was no question this time as the Bills' defensive backs knocked the ball to the ground as time expired.
And it's over. It took a quarter of a century. And the Buffalo Bills have won a playoff game.
The next game brought in the Baltimore Ravens, giving the Bills their second home playoff game in 25 years. Led by the former league MVP, Lamar Jackson, the Ravens came to play on a cold and windy Buffalo night. With winds reaching speeds of up to 15 miles per hour, throwing and kicking was going to be difficult. The Ravens drove down the field and missed a field goal on their opening possession.
Well, off the upright.
While Allen and the Bills scored a field goal on their second possession, taking the early 3-0 lead. The Ravens finally got on the board with a late second quarter field goal, evening the score at 3 apiece, and that would be the score at the half. The Bills' first possession of the second half was capped off by a quick screen pass from Allen to Diggs for the game's first touchdown, giving the Bills a 10-3 lead. Things were looking good for the Ravens driving down to the Buffalo 9-yard line, until a 3rd and goal when Jackson dropped back to pass. He threw an interception to Bills' nickel corner Taron Johnson, who returned the INT the length of the field for the most electric play of the game.
In the end zone by Johnson. Taron Johnson. And only Jackson can stop him now. Too late to the end zone. Touchdown.
On the next drive, things would get worse for the Ravens, when a missed snap flew over the head of Jackson, who ran back and tried to pick it up. While being tackled in the end zone, Jackson's head slammed to the turf, knocking the quarterback out for the remainder of the game. Drop passes and some miscues from the Ravens would stop any comeback effort, and the Ravens running into the kicker late in the fourth quarter sealed the win for the Bills, as Allen took a knee to run out the clock. The Bills were going back to the AFC Championship game.
And it has been a long road back, but here they are playing in the championship.
Candidates, and he lifted the Bills over Indianapolis. This time around, though, it was all about the Bills' defense. They hit, hurried, and absolutely harassed Lamar Jackson, eventually knocking him out of the game. They held the Ravens to 3 points, and now they are headed to the AFC Championship game. And these fans, 6,700 of them, sound like 67,000.
Liam, thanks. Josh, Stefon, I guess, Josh, let's start with you. 8 straight wins. This one takes you to the AFC Championship game. What made this team effort special tonight and successful?
Well, you saw our defense, the game plan that our coaching staff put for that offense. It was unbelievable. Taron Johnson, what a play. I mean, guys stepping up when their number's called, and that's all it took. Guys like this going out, catching the ball still, scoring touchdowns when they need to. We got the job done. You don't get style points for winning in the playoffs. You either go home or you win to the next round. So we're to the next one.
Indeed you are. Hey, Stefon, a lot of people have tried to describe the relationship between you and Josh. How would you describe it?
I say this like my little brother, it's like my little big brother, but it's a lot of love, it's a lot of charisma, it's a lot of fight, and this boy's a dog. He prove it every week. They doubt him every week, and he prove him wrong every time.
Well, you're both proving it. Whoever wants to jump in here and go first, why did you guys connect so quickly this season?
I mean, the only thing that I can say is we're very similar. You know, we're both competitive as hell. We both want to win. That's all we want to do. It don't matter how many times I throw it to him. He wants to win. He wants to help this team win, and that's the same for me. I'm just trying to be the best person, the best quarterback that I can be for the Buffalo Bills. That's my dog.
Well, hey, Stefon, if someone had told you when you arrived here in Buffalo, you were going to be heading to the AFC Championship game with a chance to get to the Super Bowl, what would you have said?
I would have believed him. Just because the simple fact, playing with this guy, practicing with this guy, he's a guy that can do it. And as a player that you just want to play for him. You know, he works hard. He busts his not the A word. He busts his A word. And I just love this guy, man. That's it.
Hey, you guys, enjoy the celebration. Congratulations.
The AFC Championship game will put the Bills against an earlier season opponent, Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium.
Josh Allen, this kid is so impressive. He's gotten so much acclaim, but I'm not even sure it's been enough for what he's done this year.
It's been unbelievable. The progression from year 1 to 2 to 3. It's what you see in all the great quarterbacks who have ever come on and improved. He's improved at a rapid rate, and you're seeing the evolution of a quarterback who loves the game and learns and taking his team to the AFC title game, Jim.
And his favorite target led the league this year in receptions, Stefon Diggs.
The Bills got off to a good start as Allen drove the Bills down for an opening field goal.
Borges on the hold and passes kick. It is good into the net.
A couple of mishaps and a fumbled punt return by the Chiefs put the Bills in great position. On a fake run, Allen passed to the left and found Dawson Knox for the touchdown. After a Tyler Bass missed extra point, the Bills had a 9-0 lead. But the Chiefs would put together a drive of their own. Mahomes marched the Chiefs down the field for the score. The Chiefs began getting hot, taking their next drive down the field on a Williams touchdown run, giving the Chiefs a 14-9 lead. After another Chiefs touchdown by Edwards-Helaire, the Chiefs had a 21-9 lead, just like that. The Bills' offense, that put up record-setting numbers all season long, just couldn't get it going. Down 21-9 in the second quarter, Allen managed to get the Bills in position for a field goal before the half. The second half was more of the same for the defending champs. They took their second half drive down the field for a field goal, stretching the lead 24-12. Allen and the Bills answered back with a field goal of their own, but it wasn't enough. The Chiefs again drove down the field, but Tyreek Hill broke loose on a short pass, turning it into a 75-yard gain.
Across the middle to Hill. Don't even know how to bring him down. Look at him go. Oh, and Hill takes it to the end of
The Chiefs capped off the drive with an underhand shovel pass from Mahomes to Kelsey to make the score 31-15 late in the third quarter. The Bills were on the move in the fourth quarter, with a chance to still make it a game and somehow keep pace. Allen was intercepted when his pass bounced off the hands of John Brown and into the hands of a Chiefs defender. The Chiefs kept their foot on the gas and delivered just about the final blow when Mahomes completed a touchdown pass to a wide-open Travis Kelsey, making the score 38-15 midway through the fourth quarter. Allen would lead the Bills to a late fourth-quarter touchdown, and the Bills would even recover an onside kick. But little would come of the momentum, and eventually the Chiefs sealed the win, knocking the Bills out of the playoffs.
You mentioned the end of the game didn't really sit well with you. When did the emotions kind of start to boil over for the team?
I mean, I don't think it was too much, but just the frustration of getting sacked, and it just took a bad sack, and it is what it is. Like I said, I don't like playing that way, and it's on my conscience right now. And, it sucks, it sucks losing. You hate to lose, and just it's not a good feeling. But I got to be a better leader for this team.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hey, Josh, it's obviously really early to fully comprehend, but last year's loss to Houston was so influential in your improvement this year and your mentality last offseason. What do you think you can take away from this loss as you prepare to move forward?
mean, just every game situation that you're in, you learn from it. This one's not going to be fun watching over. It's not fun falling a game short of the Super Bowl. One team had to win, one team had to lose, and that's the gist of it. And we didn't play good enough to win tonight. And I mean, it's going to fuel us, and I got no doubt in my mind that we will be back. This is a team that fought hard to the end, team that loves each other, and we're still young and we're only going to get better. And that's one takeaway I got from this. And we're close. And I know the results weren't good tonight, but I'm super proud of how our team fought the entire season and how we bonded together. And it was a tough adjustment this year with all the coronavirus and the testing and the separating and not being able to go over to teammates' houses, and just the sacrifice that it took this year. I'm super proud of our team, our staff, our organization for that matter, and making this thing work and making this thing go. And it sucks that we couldn't return the favor and accomplishing what we wanted to accomplish. But again, I'm super proud of what we did this year.
One thing we all know about Josh Allen is that he will continue to improve, and he has every year since entering the league. In fact, no NFL quarterback has improved completion percentage more in one season than Josh Allen did from his second to third season. The story of Josh Allen is beyond inspiring, with his coming from a small farming town and growing to one of the biggest stars in the NFL. When the odds were against Josh Allen, he never gave up or settled for no. He continued to improve and find ways to succeed, just like the people of Buffalo and all of Western New York. Call it fate, call it destiny, call it what you like. But one thing for sure, Josh Allen was born to quarterback the Buffalo Bills.